The 2023 Razorback Football schedule has officially been released, and what in the world is this crap? We're going to talk about this schedule and how bad it is, and what do we even do about this, as well as some other topics going on with next year's schedule on today's Locked On Razorbacks podcast.
You are Locked On Razorbacks, your daily podcast on the Arkansas Razorbacks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome into the Locked On Razorbacks podcast. I am your host, John Nabors. I am also the host of Out of Bounds. You can catch every weekday afternoon from 1 to 4 on 103.7 The Buzz and 103.7thebuzz.com. I'd like to thank LinkedIn Jobs for being the official college football recruiting sponsor across the Locked On College Network. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates that you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. Terms and conditions do apply. Hope everybody's having a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday as we are the halfway point of the week. And I know we got Texas A&M to talk about, and we'll do so more so tomorrow on tomorrow's podcast and really do a deep dive and a breakdown. But I had to bring this up. The 2023 schedule got released in the SEC for all games, not the times, but just the dates. And first off, I think it's extremely stupid that the SEC releases the schedule now. Like, wait till February. Like, wait till it's time where it's slow and maybe you could draw some attention and some excitement towards the product and towards football when it's not going on. Doing it in the middle of September when football season's in full swing seems dumb. But hey, they didn't ask me. I don't know anything about it, but that's just kind of how I feel about it. So either way, they officially released the schedule. And we kind of knew and had an idea of when some of these games are going to be and who Arkansas was going to be playing and all that. But once you just finally put it all to paper and get an idea of what it all looks like what happened? Who pissed off the SEC? Look at this schedule. We'll just go through it. You start the season against Western Carolina in Little Rock. Okay. September 2nd. September 9th, you play Kent State at home. September 16th, you get BYU at home. Okay, 3 non-conference games. Your third one being the toughest one is what it is. September 23rd, you go on the road to LSU. LSU is not in November. I can't remember the last time that LSU was not in November or at least in late October. And you play them the 23rd of September this year, or this upcoming season, on the road. Okay. September 30th, you get Texas A&M in Arlington. Then after that, you go to Ole Miss on October 7th, to Alabama on October 14th. You get Mississippi State at home on October 21st. Your bye week. Then you go to Florida after your bye week on November 4th. You get Auburn at home November 11th. You get Florida International at home November 18th. And you get Missouri at home November 25th. So you end the season with 3 games at home. This might be the most disgusting, terrible, god-awful schedule I could ever see anyone putting together. Not only playing the opponents that you're playing, but where you're playing them and also when you're playing them. Like, I have no idea what happened. How did we get to this point? Let's just start. All right. Let's just get through this. I know we'll go into some more deep dives and some other things going on in the next segment and talking about some of the specific questions that some of you have had about the schedule. Starting the season in Little Rock, folks. People are complaining about this. The Little Rock game is going to be going away after 2025. It's not going to be there. It's not going to exist. It's going to get put out of its misery after Arkansas plays Arkansas State. It's going to be over. It's going to be done with. There'll be no more games in Little Rock. No more games in War Memorial. So we just got to tough it out. Just got to tough it out for just a couple more years. It'll be fine. But you go your first 3 games at home and your last 3 games at home. That's stupid. Because what that does is you have everything terrible in the middle of the year when everything's going well. Like, you have 6 games at home, or the Little Rock game, I guess, technically at home, but 6 games in the state of Arkansas 3 at the end, 3 at the beginning. Like, that's not good. That's not good, especially in the fact that those 6 games are going to be against some of your easier opponents. Yeah, you want to start strong, you want to finish strong, but that's not really the best of ways to have your schedule keep going. But you start the conference slate against LSU in Baton Rouge on September 23rd. Why? Why did this happen? Who asked for this? What was the problem of playing LSU in November like Arkansas and LSU's been doing since the beginning of time, essentially? Like, who was sitting there? You know what? We're kind of tired of Arkansas and LSU being in November. Let's move it to September. Why? Whatever. The only thing I can think of in this whole thing of why they would move that game to September 23rd is that LSU wanted it there. That's the only rationale I can come up with. Maybe they don't want to play Arkansas in November. Maybe they don't want to deal with Arkansas in November. And I have no evidence of that to say that that's what LSU decided to do. But that's the only rationale I can think of. A game that has been in the same month, at the same point in time of the year, whether it's the final game of the season or at least close to the final game of the season, to have it in September suddenly is dumb. Unless, or let me add this into the mix, or it could be in the fact that maybe, just maybe, they're setting it up for what it's going to look like once Oklahoma and Texas join in. Like, maybe that's going to become a more permanent thing where you play LSU in the beginning part of the year because they're going to be part of your pod or division or 3-team permanent, well, however you want to put it. Maybe that's the case. But having LSU in September on the road is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. It's dumb. Texas A&M and Arlington, we all know that. That's technically a home game, even though it's not. 2 Ole Miss and 2 Alabama, back-to-back weeks. You have 4 straight weeks where you're away from the state of Arkansas. And all of them are SEC opponents. And all of them are going to be good, quality SEC opponents. LSU, A&M, Ole Miss, and Bama. 3 of those games are on the road, true road games, and one of them is in Arlington. Disgusting, pathetic that was made. I have no idea what is happening. October 21st is your first. You don't play an SEC home game until October 21st. Like, past the halfway point of the season. You are 7 games in before you play your first SEC game at home. How? How is that possible? I just cannot believe that this is happening. I know the SEC screws Arkansas over at every turn, but good grief. At least give a little bit of a heads up. Your open date is October 28th, and then you go to Florida November 4th. Auburn, Florida International, Missouri, all at home. I can't think of a time where there's been a worse schedule made in the SEC for Arkansas. I'm not talking about the opponents. Because I already know, like, we all know, like, this is who they were going to play. This is who it was going to be. We all know that. I'm talking about the placement. What it should have been, if you ask me. It should have been where you played Carolina, Kent State, BYU. That's fine. To open up the season, all 3 games in Arkansas. Then you should have gone, I would have taken a road game there. Man, see, I'm already getting worked up and I'm already starting to lose my voice. I would have taken a game there, like a road game there. Not LSU, though. It should have been at Ole Miss, or no, I wouldn't even say that. Do Bama. That game's always in September. Do Bama there. Go on the road there. Make that work. Then you get A&M. Okay, fine. And then after A&M, you get a home game. Once again, where you play, we'll say Mississippi State. Just kind of like what you did this past year. Play Mississippi State at home. Then after that, you go, we'll say, to where? We'll do another road game. Say to Florida. Tough stretch, but winnable. Or even to Ole Miss. How about that? Do that. After Mississippi State, you go to Ole Miss. Then you get Auburn at home. That'll work. And then you go from Auburn to a bye week. And after your bye week, you go to LSU. Okay? Works for me. I wouldn't mind that. And then you have, I don't think I'm missing anybody, but then after that you go Florida International, Missouri, whatever it is. Just some sort of setup that way where it's spread out a little bit more. And you're not waiting until frickin' October 21st for your first SEC home game. That is absurd. Arkansas, as far as the non-conference schedule is what it is. That's the way it's going to be. But to make the schedule this way, where it absolutely screws Arkansas at every turn, is insane. Yes, I know that normally that A&M game would be in Fayetteville, and it may alleviate a little bit. But still, it's not in Fayetteville. The SEC knows it's not in Fayetteville. Arkansas gets screwed at every turn. And you know what? Sometimes it just gets annoying. Sometimes it gets over the top. Sometimes it gets frustrating. Sometimes I just want to be like, you know what? I don't want to leave the SEC because of the money. But, sometimes I just want to just not stand, almost be your own entity. Be like, yeah, we're partners with you, but we don't claim you, which will never happen. But it just makes me so mad that in every regard, at every turn, Arkansas gets screwed. I don't understand it. I do not understand it. It's so frustrating. I don't understand what this schedule is all about. It's almost like they made everyone else's schedule first, and then Arkansas was the 14th team that they needed to make the schedule for. And they're like, all right, we'll just throw it together and give them the remains. It's disgusting. Home schedule's terrible. Your best home, you're playing, your Mississippi State might be your best home game next year. Ew. BYU and Mississippi State will be your best games in Fayetteville. You got Auburn. I don't know. Something's got to change. I cannot, I don't know. I'm mad about this. I'm really mad about this because I'm mad for the fans a lot because I guarantee you no other team has to wait until late October to have their first SEC game. Not one single team has to do that. I guarantee you no other team does that. But because you're Arkansas, no one gives a rip about you. No one cares. You'll get over it. I hate it. I hate every part of it. I hate every being of it. It just makes me mad. It infuriates me, and I'm sick of it. But that's just how I feel. We'll talk more about the schedule. These days, every new potential hire can feel like high-stakes wager when you're a small business. You want to be 100% certain that you have the best access to the best qualified candidates available, and that's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the right people for your team faster and for free. What you do is you talk about going on to the app. You can download it there. You can go to linkedin.com, however you need to do it, and post your job. It's really easy to do. When you add your job, make sure you do the purple hashtag hiring frame on your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you're hiring. Simple tools like screening questions make it easy to focus on the candidates with just the right skills and the experience so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to do the interview with and who you'd like to hire. That's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. So post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply.
You are Locked On Razorbacks, your daily podcast on the Arkansas Razorbacks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, continuing on with the Locked On Razorbacks podcast, and we talked about the schedule and just how absurd it is. And the question a lot of people have been asking about what Arkansas getting screwed over in this whole thing is, will it change? What will change? Like, what does this mean? Is this just a one shot in the dark thing? Is this something that maybe, is just a bad timing of all of that? I think that, let me put it this way. I have a fear that this is going to be a little bit of a precursor to what will happen once Oklahoma and Texas join the conference. I have a fear that even as bad as it is with this schedule, once those teams come in, it's just going to get worse for Arkansas when it comes to scheduling, because it's proven time and time again, and I think this is proven in this past scheduling for Arkansas, that the SEC does not care. In 2020, when the COVID year happened and they went to an all-conference schedule of 10 games, what did they do with Arkansas? What did they give Arkansas? Not only did they have to play the 8-game schedule they already had, but they threw in Georgia and Florida, the two best teams in the East, to say, here you go. Toughest schedule, without a doubt, no questions asked. Here you go. They screwed them then. Arkansas got screwed this upcoming year when it comes to the scheduling of everything. And I feel like once Oklahoma and Texas actually join, they're going to get screwed even more. They're going to give the benefits to those teams. They're going to give them, and saying that, hey, you guys are, well, you're just Arkansas, but we'll make sure that we take care of business and get those guys taken care of first, and then maybe we'll work on you. Like, it kind of gives me almost a fear, too, that whenever they come up with the 3 permanent opponents for Arkansas, that they're going to give them, like, the worst that you could have. Like, they're going to give them, like, A&M, Texas, and Oklahoma. And then it's like, okay, well, Arkansas, just have fun. It's like, no. Like, you got to have some sort of mix in there. You got to be able to help it out. But it just keeps proving. It just keeps proving that Arkansas does not get the respect. They don't get any of the benefits. They don't get to reap any of the benefits. They don't get games moved around for their sake. Because if you, like, I remember when, it used to be Auburn and Georgia would play each other in the next to the last week, and then Alabama and Auburn would play each other the next week. And that was going on forever. But then it's like, well, it's too tough. It's back-to-back games. Well, let's move you, Auburn. Let's get you over here and take care of you in the middle of the season. That way you don't have those tough back-to-back games. You think they'd ever do that for Arkansas? Do you think they would ever consider that? No. They'd be like, well, it's the way the cookie crumbles. Sorry. You got to do what you got to do. Like, they would not give 2 rips about Arkansas in that case. And they don't give 2 rips about them now. Like, that is just horrible. And it's not going to change. It's the way it's going to be. And, it's just, we got to accept it. We got to accept it and just say, screw it. Let's do it live. Let's get after it. Let's go about it the way we want to go about it and just try to win some games, because that's the only thing that's going to happen. It's the only thing that's not going to change. Like, the SEC screwed over Arkansas when they gave the LSU game, used to be at the end of the year, and they gave it to Texas A&M. Why? Well, because LSU and A&M have history. Oh, but LSU and Arkansas don't. Okay. No, but what it was, they're like, wow, A&M and LSU, they're bigger markets, and they have bigger teams and bigger fan bases. So we'll give them that one, because also there may be times where that's the SEC Western Division crown game. And Arkansas, you get Missouri. Why? Well, they're all that's left. It just sucks. And it's like everyone's like, quit complaining, quit whining. No, I'm not going to stop. And I'm not going to stop until something changes, until something gets fixed. And people need to hear about it. Hunter Yurachek, I don't know if what he said or anything, but he needs to voice his publicly voice his absolute and total disgust with this. I think Sam Pittman needs to say something too. I think everybody needs to make it known that, like, this is crap. This is bad. This sucks. Stop disrespecting us at every turn. Stop making us have the scraps of everybody else. Stop. Like, we will accept it sometimes. Some years it's going to be that way. Sometimes it'll just happen. But when it's year after year after year and time again, no. We need to put our foot down. We need to say, stop this nonsense. Give us some sort of respect. We deserve it. I'm just so sick and tired of all of this, and hopefully it changes. I don't think it will, though. But publicly, people need to come out and voice their displeasure about it, at least the people that matter. BetOnline.net is your number one source for all of your pro and college football betting needs and sports info this season. Find all of the latest sports league developments, football matchups, game matchups, news, and podcasts, all of those things at BetOnline, where it continues to be your source for all sporting wagering information, including live betting, esports, and scores. The fastest and easiest way to check on all your favorite sports and events, including MLB, MMA, boxing, and golf. It's all there. So head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and actions over at BetOnline, where the game starts.
You are Locked On Razorbacks, your daily podcast on the Arkansas Razorbacks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
We'll get to our final segment here on the Locked On Razorbacks podcast, but attention all you food, service, and cleaning professionals. Brady Industries has been pioneering the way products and solutions are delivered to you, the cleaning and food service community, since 1947. Brady is new to the Arkansas community as of 2019, but the company has decades of experience serving more than 25,000 customers all over the country. And there's one guy you need to call for all of your food service and janitorial needs. It's my guy, Aaron Smith of Brady Industries. Great guy and a great Razorback fan. From cleaning chemicals to food service and amenity products, Aaron at Brady Industries has what you need. He takes pride in providing exceptional value and service to his customers and offers expertise and innovative solutions to meet all of the toughest and highest challenges. So call Aaron and he will help you get the best value for your facility and food service budget. You can call Aaron Smith at Brady Industries at 501-424-8837, or you can visit supplies.bradyindustries.com to browse all that they have to offer. And if you mention that you heard him right here on the Locked On Razorbacks podcast, he'll take an additional 15% off because he's just that nice of a guy. So call Aaron Smith over at Brady Industries, 501-424-8837. All right, so we'll close up shop with this because I know I've just been using this whole thing for a schedule rant and me being just livid about it, and I'm probably just going to have to sit there and take it because that's what we do. As Razorback fans, you just got to sit there and take it. But the question becomes also with this scheduling and why tough it is Arkansas having to play in Little Rock and also having to play in Dallas or Arlington and Dallas Cowboys Stadium next year, which those are two home games that you don't actually have at home. Like those are games that you're missing out on. And I think that if you had A&M at home and Western Illinois at home, you know, it's completely and totally a different thing. But they don't. And so that hurts. Here's the thing. 2025 is going to be the end of the Little Rock games. Once you play Arkansas State there, it's over. It's done with. And it needs to be. It needs to be. I know some of you are big fans of games in the War Memorial Stadium and in Little Rock, and that's fine. I have no complaints. I have no issues with anybody that loves those games. But you got to look at it from the U of A perspective. They lose money playing there. It's a terrible facility that's not up to the SEC standards. It doesn't have the same vibe in it as it once did. It doesn't have the same magic that it once did. It doesn't have the same reasoning or logic behind it that it once did. It just, you can't do the recruiting angle there effectively. You can't have kids on campus like you could if it was a Fayetteville game. You just can't do it anymore. But it's over. So we're just going to have to grit it and bear it through this year. And then 2025, it'll be over with after that Arkansas State game, and you'll no longer have to worry about it. But the game in Dallas is also technically a home game next year against A&M. And I think that that's something that is going to also come to an end after 2024. I don't know if it's going to continue to be a game played there for Arkansas. I think that that's possible because Jerry Jones wants wants his team playing there each and every year. So, you know, it may continue on until that point. But overall, this is just something that's going to come to an end too. So it's more likely that the game will continue to play in Dallas than it will be in Little Rock. Like, you're going to have a game in Arlington more often. And maybe Jerry finds another opponent. Maybe he does it just every other year, whatever it may be. But there will be games in Arlington still for Arkansas. And I'm fine with that. Like, it has a lot of draw. Like, there's a lot of people in Texas that can go see the Razorbacks play. And also, it's a great recruiting tool because you can go into kids' living room and be like, hey, every single year you're going to play in Dallas Cowboys Stadium. Every year. You get to play there. That's a huge draw for some people. You know, a lot of people don't even get to play there unless they go to the Cotton Bowl or the national championship game. If you're a Razorback, you get to play there every year. So I think that there's a draw to that. But it's just something that we're going to have to deal with for right now, because that's another thing that hurts this schedule. Like, it's not all just the SEC's fault, although that mostly is. But a lot of it is just the scheduling of Arkansas with Little Rock games and games in Arlington, which, again, will go away here fairly soon. So just going to have to grit it and bear it. But I hate it. I hate the schedule. I hate the SEC for doing it. But I'm just going to have to get over it just like I do everything else and just figure out a way to continue my life in some form or fashion. But appreciate you listening to my rant today. And appreciate all of you listening in to Locked On Razorbacks podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe to the podcast on iTunes or on Google Play. You can also get after me on Twitter at BuzzJohnNabors for any questions, comments, concerns that you may have. We'll keep it going from there. Same podcast time, same podcast channel tomorrow afternoon. Have a great day, everybody.